I need more. I need a chorus. We did it! We got 4,000 Hallmark movies.
4,000, and here's the opening.
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you should know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh
I like the beginning of that song. 'Cause it's been a long and exhausting day. For you both, it was a long and exhausting 3 months, huh? Wow.
Hey!
Well done. Well done. Well
I
done.
will-
Before Halloween. Yep.
I will say that it went faster this year than last year.
No, it did not. It really did not. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Reagan. With me,
Another host, Kristin Finger, and of course, another host.
Mike Gregoric, stage managing and down and screenwrite. There's no house
Yeah.
left. Right? Screenwrite for you all.
Beautiful.
I also would like to plug Matt Castorino and Jill Knapp of Hot Breakfast. They wrote that theme song. Clearly, a kazoo was added in. I would like to have credit now on. No, is that not how that works?
No, I don't approve that. Can I ask a question? How many Hallmark movies, grand total, did we watch, Kevin?
So I didn't include the murder movie mystery channel, which I never remember the name of it.
You didn't?
I didn't. That's not on my list. It wasn't on your list originally either. When we did our first go around on the list, and I believe the Hallmark channel itself, I think it's 34. I want to say,
So
but
I would
41
say,
new movies.
Okay, 41 that we watched. Okay, because I did watch them.
I know you
all.
did.
I feel like you all sort of tricked me when you wrote me in 3 weeks ago. I've watched 12 of these classic films, and you made it seem like the Murders, Movies, and Mayhem channel was important. I watched those as well.
Yeah.
We watch them. No, we do. Kevin is just being a fart.
No, it's when my schedule doesn't. When I have to cut off 2 hours, those are the first 2 hours to go.
Sure.
Unless Candace Cameron Bure's in something, and those are the 2 hours.
Those are, we cut those anyway. But should we talk about at least what happened this weekend? The final weekend.
The final countdown.
I thought we were doing it again.
Never again.
We started with Sugar Plum Twist. I don't know what I'm saying. With the Sugar Plum Twist. This was on Friday, the 17th at 8 o'clock. We had Jamie Gray Hyder as Natalia. We had Hector Rivera as Mateo. We had Laura Rosgur, I believe is how you say her name, as Vivian Serrano, and we had Jalen Taylor as Justin Ortiz.
Shout out to Jalen Taylor, very active on Twitter that evening. We've been live tweeting recently, and he was liking it and hanging out.
And also shout out to Laura, who I'm trying to get on the show because she was very active after the fact. So she was in the movie, like into her movie, and then she started liking and tweeting and such. But I'm gonna read you the 2 synopsi that are available. Yeah, there are 2. I don't know why. Well, one was Hallmark and one was IMDb, and it's funny because they kind of describe different movies, but when you put them together, you get the whole movie. So, here's Hallmark's. Professional ballerina Natalia returns home to Richmond at Christmas and works with a ballet student who has a flair for Latin dance.
Oh,
okay, kind of
what happened, yeah.
How about this one? After failing to get the coveted role of the Sugar Plum Fairy in this year's production of The Nutcracker, Viviana Serrano joins forces with Natalia to create a surprise reprise of the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy with a Latin twist.
Wow.
Love it.
They changed the lead. They changed the lead a little bit.
Yeah. Which was also very cool because, Kev, we know that listing-wise, credits-wise, they listed the 2 females first, and then the boys loved it, obsessed. Like we know who this movie is about, and love the idea that actually the boys were sort of like they weren't really needed at all for the movie, which I loved. We could have just had this full female force of a movie, but the boys did like they weren't obnoxiously like added. They were very sweetly added, and I liked it.
It's funny you say that too, because as we were watching this, my wife even said at one point, because none of the boys had shown up, and she said, I kind of hope this is we just didn't hear about this, but it's about these two women. Although I will say Viviana's character was a little bit young. If they were going to do like the two women together, it was like
sure. I think she was a lot younger than her. Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd say a lot younger. I mean, please let's not be ageist. But yeah, she was significantly younger. It would have been really inappropriate.
Well, and that was the vibe. I tweeted super early that who wants this to have a Black Swan twist and let that be the twist. And Hallmark Movies actually retweeted it and said, "Spoiler alert." There's not. That's not the case, but people did kind of engage, and that's what it felt like a little bit up front. Was this like there was going to be like a rival dancer kind of competition thing? Forget the men, just like let's look at this theater company. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Then it kind of fell into more of the mold, but still was super unique.
I really enjoyed. Is it Meredith that was the one that did get the role? I'm just gonna right out of the gate. I would obviously play Meredith. We're not. I'm a monster. But so something that's interesting, and I don't know if either of you can speak to this, but as someone that, I don't want to brag, taught color guard for 10 years, understands dance, okay, to a layman's level of form and difficulty of things. I will say Meredith did nothing of note. She
totally sitting. Yeah.
Nothing.
Like, come on. Yeah. And then my question is, obviously the woman that plays Vivian, clearly a beautiful dancer, but I'm not quite sure if the woman playing Natalia has a dance background, but did it beautifully. Well,
yes, she did, but also they did a lot of cut-ins, if you noticed, and that was obviously a double. You could tell because of the way it was a ballerina's foot. She could bend, but then when they would show Natalia from a wide shot, her foot was just, it was like up on a tippy toe, but not bent the way a ballerina bend her foot. Yeah.
But I love dance, so this was just fun that the movie was about dance.
I think I think her sort of awkwardness of dancing came from like an okay acting choice of like being that like teacher now, like retired dancer.
He was hurt.
Trying to being hurt, trying to get back into it. So yeah, there was some cut-ins and and obviously some dumb doubles there, but it felt sort of real, like a real thing. Like, oh, I'm getting back in. I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Guys, can I point out one little thing? And I was going to point this out when I was talking with Laura, who is the actress. She was not the character, though. The actual, it would have been Jamie Gray Hyder, who plays Natalia. She buys a wreath in the market. She goes in the market. She handed the woman her credit card and got it back. And I was like, it's the first thing in the history of Hallmark that someone actually paid for when they bought something. It was amazing. I turned to Julie and I go, it's just the little things. And it was so nice to see her hand the credit card, get it back. And I was like, transaction.
Are you talking about when she bought the Christmas angel, the wish angel?
It was it was the angel. You're right. The paper, was it the paper wish one?
Yeah,
you're right.
But I was like, oh, great. We don't have theft in this one.
I know. Or it's not this weird world where what are we trading for goods? I don't know what's happening.
But like even in this still that you have up now, look at that form. Look at her. Oh my goodness. It's lovely.
So, to your point too, Chris, about the boys. I like calling them the boys.
The boys.
This is one of the boys. This is Justin, who, when he first showed up, he was so headstrong, but his sister was there to kind of knock him down a peg, and I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. Because at first, I hated him. I was like, don't like this guy. And his sister kind of just like made fun of him, and it felt like all that machismo was fake, but he knew he wasn't like, fronting. It was like, you guys all know it's totally fine. But I love the fact that they used cell phones as much as they did, because again, it had like a youthful feeling to it. When he had music, he would play it on his cell phone. Mm-hmm. He would send it or airdrop it. They never said that to her. And then she would play it on her cell phone. And it was like, I really enjoyed that, as opposed to people who have cell phones and talk like this. Or, we had very early in the season, I forget which movie it was, Chris, where the mother was like,
oh my Lord.
And we're getting to an interesting cell phone moment in one of the later films for sure. I also appreciate that he's holding as an editor, he's holding the phone horizontal like a TV screen. Everybody, unless you're doing an Instagram story, you need to film horizontal. That's my PSA for cell phone.
That's great. I wonder. Hopefully, what is that actor's name? He probably just was like, "This is how we do this. I'm a human."
Galen Taylor. Yeah, the director said, "Oh, just hold it like this," and he goes, "Sure."
He's like, I will note that when we met Mateo, I fluttered a bit. What a look at those dimples. Okay, what are we? Who is this? Mario Lopez? Okay, like what's happening? But so one of my I just rewatched Holiday in Handcuffs the other day. Oh boy. Nice. Anyway, my favorite moment in this film, I think, that I laughed out loud was when the sister was meeting what's this guy's Mateo for the first time, and he was like, "Oh, I'm a lighting tech," and she's like, "Oh, you're an electrician? Is that why you're at the tree lighting?" Like, what is the connection? And then she was, I don't know. I just thought like people not understanding what a light technician is in theater. Like, I guess people just don't. I mean, people think me as a graphic designer that I design websites. So
there seemed to be
I think of you as someone who hates fonts.
There seemed to be a sort of misunderstanding that he was the tech, like the entire show's tech, which is like a stage manager, right? Is the person that's responsible for everything. The lighting tech probably wouldn't be there like every show and also be working on the Christmas tree lighting. That's like the local dad. Yeah.
Would you do me a favor and repeat exactly what you said about a stage manager again? A stage manager
in charge of everything.
We'll come back to that in 2 movies. Great, awesome.
Okay, great.
So here's the one thing, though, again about the boys. I felt like they probably didn't need. I was fine with both of them being in it. One of them probably could have been a pre-established relationship with one of the ladies.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been fine if, let's just say, like, I guess they wanted to do Mateo coming in from out of town because Natalia had come back into town. But it would have made sense if Viv already had a relationship with Justin, and even if they were just taking it to the next level, or if they weren't and it was like they're already kind of hot and heavy, and I felt that the dual love story was unnecessary. Did not hurt the movie in the least bit. It just, I felt like you could have gotten like 1 or 2 more scenes that you didn't, you had to do other things, exposition basically, because you had to establish who these people were to each other. But beyond that, and the fact that Miss Cat did have redemption, and I didn't think that was possible.
Miss Cat.
Boo this person.
There she is.
She's probably the most like warm human being, and played
real life.
Like, and also did you notice they put her in all these like very silky blouses, like that just made her look sort of, I don't know, snooty. I thought it was well done costume wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Made her look cold. Yeah, that's also you say that because our friend Sarah Serpansky was the costume designer for this film, Kristin. So she also did Next Stop Christmas, and she did this film. So, but I agree with you. I felt like she definitely had a very like cold vibe, and that was what they were going for. So
yeah, it was very what do you call that? Like, well, just her bringing in the way that it was very Devil Wears Prada. Like, she was very Meryl Streep in this almost.
Yeah.
But with like a dancer spin to it. And what I did really like is that the guest choreographer that she brought in was someone that Natalia already knew and didn't hate, but respected, and he respected her. And there was no, I'm glad they didn't add that to the like, complications of the movie, and that he was like, and then I thought for a second, I was like, ew, is he hitting on her? And I was like, oh, no, not at all. Like, thank goodness. I was like, oh, golly. But so I thought they did, I loved it. I loved it too. Too nice.
Me too. Had a mistletoe kiss. That's okay. Was missing something, and I was very grateful. Might have been the first one this year. No
Zero
dead
people.
anything.
Zero dead alert, everyone.
Everybody's alive.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this all season. Mike, we got one.
What's funny about this is I thought you were like leading up to like then there was a dead person, but no, we got one. It's the opposite.
Yeah, I know. Just go with me on this. It doesn't make sense.
We got one. Zero dead people.
Listen, this is going to come back into play. I will say this is in my top 5.
Yowza! Spoiler alert.
Mike, talk to this because I don't know of this drink until you tweeted about it, and I looked it up, and it sounds delicious to me.
I've been very lucky to be in New York City in an area where there are it's very integrated, and a lot of Spanish folks from all over different places of Latin America, a lot of Latinx folks, and my downstairs friends and neighbors are indeed Latin as well, and have made me coquito every holidays. And
sounds good.
You know what eggnog is, Kevin? Yes, yeah. It's just, I mean, it's just better eggnog. It's just a little bit lighter. It's not as heavy. It's made very much the same way in terms of like eggs and such. But it's just got better spices in it, and generally like a Caribbean rum of some sort. And it is just better. It's just delicious.
I look forward to finding a vegan version of it, which I was
gonna say. I was like, Kev, we can totally veganize this for you.
I was reading about it. I was, and it sounded better than eggnog. And I have to say, especially if you watched the last season of any Remark and you saw our Santa Claus, which is John Colby, John and I have a bit with eggnog where we want to walk into a bar, every bar, and ask for something from their nog gun, so that the bartender just. I just feel they should have eggnog in one of those. Here's your eggnog, sir.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's delicious. You're right, Mike.
Yes.
And, help me again. Coquito?
Coquito, yeah. Coquito.
Okay, it sounds great.
And there was a lot of great tweets during the show of folks from Puerto Rico or just other Latin American countries or islands, and that they were totally into this movie and loving the representation. And so this was just a fun example of that, a very specific drink for a very specific culture that I happen to find super delicious. So
I love it.
Yeah. Thumbs up for me. Thumbs up for me for this one.
Yay! All thumbs up.
Yeah.
But then we moved on to Saturday night, and it's a sequel. That's right. We had The Christmas House 2, Deck the Halls. If you say it fast, it sounds even dirtier. Some weird reason.
Deck the Halls.
Deck the Halls. So this is as simple as can be with the description from Hallmark. Is simply the Mitchell brothers compete to see who can create the best Christmas house. Now, if you saw the film last year, you already have some understanding of who the Mitchell brothers are. You also know who Marvelous Jim is. We'll talk about him.
I'm excited to talk about Marvelous Jim. Let's get through this.
So I kind of want to hear from Mike right out of the gate. Oh, I'll tell you who's in this. You have Robert Buckley as Mike Mitchell. You have Jonathan Bennett as Brandon Mitchell, who I got to tell you, I'm always surprised that he's the older brother. I always picture Robert as the older brother, and I think it's because of the success with the lawyer show.
Confusing.
You have Anna Ayora, I believe. Iora? I can't say it.
Oh, look at Mike's little heart for her.
Yep, she's great, man.
I fell in love during the movie.
Yeah.
She's Gal Gadot for Hallmark, and that is not a shot at her in the least bit, and it's not a shot at Hallmark. Yeah. Congratulations, everybody involved. We have Brad Harder, and then we have Billis.
Yeah.
Billis! Sharon Lawrence and Treat Williams. I mean, Mike, first of all, did you see Christmas House 1?
I did not see Christmas House 1. I know that last week you recommended I see Christmas House 1 before seeing Christmas House 2. As happens in life, I was running out of time and had to make the decision, do I see it without Christmas House 1 or do I just not watch it at all? I chose to see it, and I think that was to my disservice a little bit here. As you described, Kevin, I think it was a little simple. Not bad, you know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed watching it, but I think not having grown up with these characters, or you know what I mean, like not knowing.
Of course.
I felt very like non-caring throughout the entire thing. Whereas I believe that if I knew these peeps. You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh, funny. This is like, it felt very sequel-y to me. Like I felt like, oh, we're not going to set up anything. We'll have some minor conflicts, but really it's just going to be these two brothers messing around with this house.
Right.
And how cute are they? And that's what I felt. And so it just was very like, where everyone else was like, this is so much great. This is so great. I was just sort of like, it was fine. I didn't get I didn't get it. But again, I think that's because I didn't watch the first one.
Right. And I think that's true. I think you do. I mean, you obviously learn who Mike is. You learn who everybody is and why this Christmas house is a big deal.
Totally.
To the family and even the community.
Yeah.
They didn't really speak to it that the community is part of this Christmas house as well.
Right.
But like I was giddy as a schoolboy, ready to sit down and watch this.
Good Scrooge reference. Nice.
I loved it. I loved it so much. And I really love that they bookended it. And again, with the handsome law.
Yes.
Because when they opened with that last year, I think Kevin and I were like, what? And then we're like, yeah.
We want that show so badly.
Dude. And the other thing that I was obsessed with was the interview portions of these where you would just get the characters just like on a couch, reality star sort of being interviewed. I thought those were some of the funniest moments actually in the writing, which I think Robert Buckley co-wrote it because I know he wrote the first one and then he co-wrote this one. Yeah.
I love that it gave them a lot of room to play because there's no love story here. You know, the love already happened. You know, Jake and Brandon are already married. They now have 2 kids. You know, at the end of the last one, they were still, I think that at that point it was in the works to get the first child adopted. Now they have a second child. Robert Buckley and, Mike and Andy rather are together. They're just not married yet, which is okay. The weird thing is it was last year that we saw this. However, this is supposed to be 2 years later because they reference the Christmas house from last year that none of that happened. So there was a decorating snafu where, you know, a roof was...
I assumed that was the first movie.
Yeah.
No, it was... So like Mike ended up buying... Because his parents wanted to sell the house and they were like, oh gosh. And so Mike ended up buying the house, which is essentially the house he grew up in, the Christmas house. So I think he went overboard the first Christmas he was fully in charge of it and broke his girlfriend's mother's house.
But now we're into this weird multiverse thing where in this world of Hallmark, it is 2022.
Yeah. So
it's really weird, man. So this brings us to Spider-Man, which is what we really wanted to talk about. So we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
No, but
a little bit? No, not
just a little bit. Well, the interesting thing is often in these Hallmark movies, we get a creepy Santa. Right. Yeah. But thank God in this movie, we got a creepy, marvelous Jim.
Listen, I scoured the internet. You cannot find a Marvelous Jim picture. This is the actor who plays Marvelous Jim. That is obviously people watching at home are like, that is not Marvelous
Jim. That's not Marvelous Jim. No.
Here's the thing that's really sad to me. Mike did not see Christmas House 1, and I went back and thought, what do you lose with... So basically, Marvelous Jim in Christmas House 2 is the booster shot. Get the booster, by the way. But Marvelous Jim in the first one is the first 2 shots of like Moderna or Pfizer, man. And you are doing good. So I do still feel, Mike, that as time progresses, go back to 2020, which is what that would have been. 2021, I guess someday they'll make that movie. And watch the Marvelous Jim Chronicles.
It's so good, though. But I love that he just played this like whispering.
That is so weird. You're saying he comes from another movie that he had unto himself?
No, sorry.
Got it.
But he is this weird character that Noah sees him. Like Nimble Noah also sees him, which is Andy's son. So he's not a character that nobody else can see, but really the only people who interact with him are Mike, not Magic Mike, more Majestic Mike.
Majestic
Mike, and Nimble Noah. Both interact with Marvelous Jim.
Well, and I thought this might have been, this could have been a place for a little, God wink right there, because I know that's completely different, but more of a magical person. You know who he reminded me of? I don't know if you remember the viral video, Too Many Cooks, but that's exactly what I thought. That's all I could see in my head. I'm like, he's going to murder this family later on. But he can't, and so I apologize. For if you've never seen that and you're watching, Google Too Many Cooks. It is worth it.
I will say that I was worried that the brother sort of rivalry was gonna like get a bit annoying at first, like because I was like, oh no, don't overdo it. They did cool it down a bit, and I'm kind of glad that there were those little baby subplots of chill moments of like, well, what's going on with you, and what's going on with your marriage, and what's going on, with this and that. Thank goodness those sort of things were in there.
I think if this were a theatrical film, Chris, it would have been the two of them butting heads. I mean, this is like 101 until there's something else to butt ahead against, and it would have been Zane's character comes in, and then Jonathan Bennett decides, I'm not going to fight with my brother. Instead, I'm going to help him take this guy down. Even though Zane was actually a very sad character, and it was really nice at the end where Mike says to him, why don't you come over Christmas morning? Because the guy had nothing. Like Mike took everything from him. He took his family, took his wife.
I don't feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. I'm just saying, like, he's on his own. He has no way home. And let's talk about Spider-Man.
Our poor Hallmark fans are like, what is this? There's a man that was a spider?
Everyone loves Spider-Man. Everyone loves Spider-Man.
Can I just, before we end here, I want to talk about Billis real fast and that real saucy scene that Treat Williams was rehearsing with his son. In which Santa was covered in dirt and in soot and became Dirty Santa. And I was like, I would like to see this.
But I also love that, like, we got to see a little bit of that play. Yeah. It was clearly like
not that sexy scene, though. Not that sexy scene.
It wasn't that sexy scene. But then later, I think Jonathan Bennett's character like tried to sell, like, please go see their show. It's this. It's also a Sears ad. Also, it's this. It's also like.
Can I just say something about the theatrical productions? Thank goodness for Sugar Plum Twist and like the closest, even though they kind of blew through the Nutcracker there at the end, it didn't matter. Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of theatrical productions in these, or even musical productions in these 12 movies I saw, and that's the one point where I feel like they just blow it every time. Hallmark movies, they're just always rough. They're always like awkwardly cut. We're about to get to a really good example of bad play, and this is another weird example of like. Why is this a sold out run of this weird, like, just clearly sketch that these parents wrote? So odd. Anyway.
This film also suffered from not having. I'm giving it a nice, but it's definitely it's of the like 9 Kittens for Christmas where it was like I wanted more and I liked what I got, but I wanted more still. Yeah, here's the mistletoe kiss.
Mistletoe, brothers makeup.
Macy Stevens to me, like here's my Kevin Feige again. That could have like they were building it up, and then and look, this actress, her name is Tara Rothery. She was fine.
I thought Dolly Parton was going to get out of the car. Like I thought it was going to be somebody.
Chris, if it was, and I know we weren't a fan of this movie, but if it was Pamela from Cranberry, right,
again, Pamela got out of the car.
That's that whole universe that they need.
They are missing opportunities. Big
Kevin
time.
Reagan, Kevin Feige. I'm just saying, Hallmark.
Spider-Man.
Let me be your Kevin Feige.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch this movie again. I need Mike to watch the first one so then he can appreciate this one.
I liked all of their fun moments. I thought the plot itself, like I said, was a little like basic. And I think I would have liked it more with the thing. So yeah, I give like a middling thumb. Thumbs up from Kristin.
Get a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we move on, some of us watch the whole thing, to the murder mystery. That's what it's called. Hallmark Movies and Mystery Channel. That's it. No murders. This is Christmas for Keeps. This cast has a lot of people. Here we go. We have Krista B. Allen as Avery.
Yep. Oh, that's the whole cast. But there we go.
We have Ryan Rotman as Ben. We have Ashley Newbra, I think that's... Yo, what's up, Newbra? As Sarah. We have Mariello Scott as Mia, and we have Cardi Wong as Noah. Oh, and we have, let's not forget, the ever important Everett Golding as Mr. Massey. And don't bring it up yet. Don't bring it up yet. I'll read this and then bring it up. Okay. At Christmas time, a close-knit group of childhood friends return home after 10 years to take part in the celebration of life of their beloved high school teacher, Mr. Massey.
Because he's dead, everybody! It's a dead Mr. Massey alert! Dead Mr. Massey alert!
Listen, first of all, in the film, now maybe people have been home and that's what they're saying in this 10 years, but in the film, it says 12 years later. And I'm not great at math, but I know the difference between 10 and 12. So I'm not saying this was 12 years later, so it's possible people stopped coming home 2 years after that. Maybe they were, I don't know, sophomores. I don't know, because again, I gave up on this film. I got very angry.
And there they are, 12 years younger.
Yes.
Listen,
yeah.
I'm all about suspension of disbelief. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I get it. But this wasn't even trying, I feel like. And I was like, okay, you know what? It was only the first scene of the movie. Like, whatever. Clearly, there aren't going to be a flashback to every single character being 12 years younger. And there was a flashback for every single character.
Oh, my God.
Sprinkled throughout the film. With which I am a little offended because I think Mr. Massey was one of the best parts of the movie. That you didn't have a picture. You didn't have a picture of him, but so there you go. That's me.
There he is. I will say that is the moment where he said, "It's improv. Leave your fear at the door." And I was like, "Is this movie about improv now?"
No, not at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I was disappointed that we didn't get to see that character enter, because I think the three of us have all done that door exercise at least once or a gajillion times in my life at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. So it hit hard.
That's where Danny DeVito went, Kristin.
Ooh,
that's correct.
Very nice.
Also, Paul Rudd.
All right, who cares?
Danny
DeVito. That's it. I love
him. Wow, I watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing as well.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm out.
I almost think that they make a lot of films, Hallmark, you know what I mean, during the holiday season. I get that that's the gimmick. It feels a little bit like, though, that they now are purposely making a couple bad ones to put on this other channel, and that is confusing to me because it seems like the worst one is always on that station, and I feel bad for the whole production crew, the actors, everybody that put a lot of hard work in. There were some moments of this that I feel like could have been salvaged, and it just was not a great altogether thing. The haze every time they went back to a flashback, and it was just that hazy
good God
thing. It was just I love Mr. Massey's life lessons. I made a joke that he was very Yoda meets Dumbledore meets he always had Harry, remember love is the most important, and then it would flash back, and then the characters would sort of make a decision based on that, but it wasn't directly connected. They would be like, oh, I remember that, but I'm still gonna do my own thing now, and I'd be like, what was the point of that flashback?
I also sorry, I was just gonna note that we had 9 characters to continuously keep repeating what their faults in life were. The amount of times each character reminded us what was going wrong in their life was okay, well, we're gonna wrap this up at the end. We get it. The amount of, I think I know that these are predictable, but the predictableness of the fact that this chickie babe was gonna just take over Mr. Maisie's part, as the teacher, that the chickie babe one's gonna find her balance of being a bad mom and a nurse. I don't know. It was just
Can we talk about Chickie Babe number 2 there, Sarah? Because she was part of the reason I turned it off. No problem with the actor, but my problem was this. She is in that very beginning scene. She says, and Mike earlier said about stage managers, they do everything. And she goes, I wrote down exactly what she said. She said, I marked all of your blocking, and she said it in such a way. And I was like, I've stage managed. That's part of your job.
Yeah.
She said it I'm a control freak. I wrote down everyone's blocking if they need it. It's you're supposed to
You're supposed to.
There was a
lot. It made me so angry. And then as it progressed and you saw Noah, she and Noah get together, which is great. They have 2 kids. And she's this control freak who can't let go of control. But he's welcome to raise our kids because I'm working at, and I was just like, that's not a control freak. Like you've given like a huge part of control of your life.
That's not exactly. That's the opposite of being a control freak.
Turned it off.
Yeah, and then to give her character a little bit of credit, like then all the other friends were like demanding she take off, and I'm like, she's like a nurse, like or a doctor, you know, like she can't just do that. I don't know. There was a lot of like the friend. If I were part of that group of friends, I would have left that group of friends. I don't care how. Like, oh my God, when they were chanting, Kevin, they started chanting his name at karaoke. And
Massey's?
and it flashed back to like a trigger in his mind of them doing that at the play, and it was supposed to be encouragement. It was supposed to be look at how like they were both straight up bullying him.
They're bullying him
both in the scene.
Ben,
in the
are you talking Ben or Mr. Massey?
No.
Like the chick, the one in the white shirt was saying no. Started the Noah chant both times for what's his face? Yeah. But then also like. Cookie guy. There were too many names.
Yeah, Noah. No, that's Cookie Guy. Noah. Yep.
Cookie guy made fun of Ben for being cranky Ben and not being funny Ben, and I was like, both his parents just died, you monster.
Yeah, it was like equal. I don't know why these people were friends. I don't know why they got back together. They did like they clearly all hated each other.
Which is that's a really good point too, because like this was high school, right? This wasn't college.
Yeah.
It was high school, and like you become friends with people in high school, and some of them you keep friendships with. The problem is with Facebook. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're still friends." No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Like you can look at a picture and go. Now you can do 4 or 5 different emojis and go, "Hey, we're engaging." But like people from high school, you drift apart, and it's because you became friends almost always because of proximity. Like, and the best way to do this is. How many of your friends have the same letter or a letter very close to your last name because you were in homeroom together? That kind of tells you that was proximity. These people, it was proximity, and then they evolve and they go out into life. So, like, stay out in life. Don't come back. Other than Noah, get a babysitter.
I didn't love it. I did really like the Mr. Massey stuff because I was laughing. I was having fun with that. I really want the Mystery Channel movies to have a mystery moving forward. And I think it would have been amazing if he was like pretending. I was talking with someone via Twitter. Like he was just pretending to be dead to get this specific group of 6 kids from one very specific year of high school back together. And he comes out at the end. He's like, my lesson
from the
has
door.
been learned.
I did it from the door.
And he walks off and like explodes into a burst of light. That's what would have made the movie a thumbs up, but it was a thumbs down.
No, it was. If they also would have given the character Ben better hair, I may have given it a thumbs up. But his hair, the whole movie, drove me nuts.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going
on.
on.
And only Ian Bailey can have that greasy of hair. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Which also that movie came from the Movies and Mystery Channel. So sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. That is the mystery. Then we did our 4th and final movie of not just the weekend, but the entire run of the Christmas Countdown. And that was...
The slide's way too far back, I'm sorry.
It's the season. It's the season to be merry. This is Rachel Lee Cook. I'm going to pause for you, let you get her up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. Well, we're zoomed in for the audience on the.
I thought you were leaving a pause.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine. Then if you are, that's completely fine.
Go for it.
Travis Van Winkle, who I got to tell you, when we see him for the first time, he's got no shirt on, and I did put Ripped Van Winkle in there. I'm sure that's been a bazillion times, not original. Karen Melina White as Sonia, and I'm gonna even go ahead and say that's Amy Growing as Darlene. So Darlene and Adam are brother and sister, and they're Sonia. Yeah. So, and then of course, let's bring them up. Did I give you a picture of John B. Lowe as Dad? I don't know if I gave you him.
No, I don't have John B. Lowe.
He was the creepy Santa Claus in Kiss Before Christmas. Kristin and I talked a lot about that creepy guy. This film, looking for a fresh angle to her book on relationships, Mary heads to snow-covered Vermont. She finds a new perspective and Christmas cheer with charismatic aid worker. Charismatic. They don't have a comma, but I think it should be charismatic, aid worker. Or it's like, I give charismatic aid to people. Adam. Here's a fun fact. If you were on Twitter and live tweeting this, you might have seen many, many people referring to Adam or Travis Van Winkle as Christian. and be confused. Because if you go to IMDb, he's got a totally different name listed. I do not know why.
Come on.
Weird.
This film
Get it
was
together.
originally written by Jen Kirkman, who is an amazing comedian. And I did post on our Twitter, and I'll repost it. She does this awesome bit about the movie Holiday Inn. Very funny. Very much worth watching. Very not Hallmark, by the way. She wrote the original screenplay. She even admitted it was rewritten by a Hallmark writer to make it more Hallmarkian. But so thoughts on this one, guys? The last one of the.
Well, now I have to have this because I did not know this was a picture of this. And
There he is.
He looks like he's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
to take someone down right now. I like
Scary
it. I like
stuff.
it. I
It's
like
scary
it.
stuff when there's a creepy Santa.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this one, and I was glad we went out with a bang. I also was sort of expecting it. I love a Rachel Lee Cook movie.
Yeah.
Usually hers are really fun. I like her a lot. I like that she always plays the not so together character of like
Yeah.
a female. Like I really like that, and
She's
not
the,
just
she's
like
the
this-
pretty. She's the pretty ugly girl. Remember from?
Yeah, exactly.
that.
So I was like, great. Also, like I'm usually bothered if it's not Tyler Hines that's shirtless, but I didn't mind it this time.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, oh, all right. And
It
I don't-
was
have we-
very spicy, Chris.
It was-
And I think that's why they did it in the last film.
And don't worry,
Very-
Remark fans, we're saving it. It's coming. It's coming. Big,
Oh, okay,
full
good. We
screen,
have
full
it. We
screen.
have it.
We have it. We
Well,
have it.
the other thing, like how long it was.
Yeah.
Like he was shirtless for a very long time. That's a big deal. But I liked their chemistry right off the bat. So
Yeah.
I was sold that this was going to be just shenanigans with the two of them. And I liked the family. I liked that they all had this pulling out of the hat sort of chore list
Yes.
sort of thing. That kind of to me was very cute. And I also love the side hustle that Sonia was having during coming in, you know, potentially
Getting that
working,
cobbler.
and
Gotta
then
get
getting that cobbler in her life. Meow, Sonia.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a fun movie. Started off fun. I turned to my wife in the very beginning of the movie. You know, we see Rachel Lee Cook's character of Mary sitting in a cafe, and there's a gentleman who's waiting for his date. Her name is Jill. We only know that because he turns to her and says, you happen to be Jill? And she says, no. She is a romance columnist, if you will. She's a blogger, and she helps people problems of the heart. And she says to him, listen, most blind dates, if they don't show up in the first 10 minutes, they're not going to, which is very similar to if you don't find a kidnapped person within the first 24 hours, you're not going to. It's very similar. They don't say that in Hallmark, but that's a Kevin. I'm throwing that on top.
No, thanks.
What?
Kevin, I just realized that was another perfect Kevin Feige, Kevin Reagan moment where that dude waiting for a woman could have been the one from like Boyfriend's Past that we just watched of
Absolutely.
like on like the numerous online dates.
Yeah.
Come on, Hallmark, there's so many opportunities.
Yeah. And eight gifts of Hanukkah.
Yes, that's what. Yes, exactly.
Like Santa could have been sitting. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Missed opportunities. Yeah, Kevin and Kristin Feige would like to work for you. So please hire us. But the thing with this that I really I'm losing my train of thought here. Where's my
Get it
note?
back. Get it back.
It's coming back. Oh, no, it's just photos. It was just fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Mike, throw that photo back up if you would of the mother and the sister, because the mother, she has there it is. She has the Princess Leia Christmas going on.
Well, you have
there.
another good one there.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Perfect. And people were going crazy on Twitter over the fact that they had mugs outside at a coffee house that gives you mugs to go out with, and I thought it was nice.
Also, the fact that he got her one, and when he like showed up with his little penguin mug and was like, "Where's blah? What's her name? Where's Mary?"
Yeah.
And like,
the movie
goodness.
seems to be Mary. I actually really liked that scene that you mentioned, Kevin, where she like plays out this scenario in her head, and then because I was tricked, right? I got tricked during that moment. I actually wish there was a little bit more of that. I think it could have been fun to like play with that thing of, because she's a writer, right? So we're like, we're seeing her write, we're getting in her head. We keep seeing these like false narratives play out out, you know what I mean? And then she realized, oh my gosh, the guy that I've been like ignoring the whole time
Yes.
is the one. Beautiful. It still played that way, but it would have been fun to like spice it up a little bit. This felt very like 10 Things I Hate About You. Very what is the bride? You know what I mean? Like all those kind of rom-coms from the 90s. You know, the Sex and the Cities, and so it was great. I think there were good actors in it. You know what I mean? And so Rachel Lee Cook is awesome, and so yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't detest anything of it, but I think it could have been a little bit more dynamic. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But if you're a writer, okay, you're obviously a creative type. So if I said to you, hey, do you want to go to a Christmas tree auction? Wouldn't you just suss out exactly what that is based on the words that I just
think
used?
so.
Yeah.
I think so.
But the fact that she goes, what's a Christmas tree auction? She goes, oh, it's an auction where we auction off Christmas trees. And I was like, excellent.
She was taking her time getting the cues. But like you said, that was kind of her character. Like that's the whole thing, right? She spends so much time writing for other people and helping other people that she's lost in her own like world.
Her own
what I mean?
sense of
Yeah.
which I loved the character of Adam a lot. Actually, I'll get to this in H3O even more. But with just like the plot, he made it never like that she was lame for making up this like person.
Totally.
I love the moment when him and his sister and her are walking and she's like trying to hook her up with the other guy. And Adam's like, no, she just broke up with her fake boyfriend. She needs time to heal. She's not ready for a real one yet. And like, I loved that bit. And then there was one point where Sonia first turned up and they had gotten out of his truck, Hank. And yes, he names his truck. And it was a red truck.
Yep.
And there was a really funny moment where I don't know if it was the actor's choice, but she was like, run. And he just went out of like the screen. I died laughing. I thought it was really funny.
Chris, he was up on the ladder too. I thought you were going to get a moment. He went up on the ladder and he was high on. I mean, if he fell off that ladder,
he would have died.
Fraction. Maybe. We would have had a rare in the movie dead romantic lead alert. We've never had one of those.
Oh, that would have been great. I got a little like, come on, when she was like, throw the tape all the way up there. And he's like, yeah. And then thankfully she did it.
And he caught it.
I was like, yeah, he caught it and she did it. But I was like, don't question your ability to throw tape. Any person can throw tape.
Kristen Finger, maybe we'll get to more of this during H3O, but that guy, you're sitting at a fire in front of a warm fire after just toasting marshmallows and making s'mores. You're kissing that guy in the moment. I mean, right?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No matter what else has happened. Yeah. No matter what else could have happened. Come on, right?
Put down the marshmallows. Yeah. Put it down.
No, I disagree. I would not because. Well, can I explain why?
No!
She does not know how to make a s'more because clearly her marshmallow wasn't melted when she bit into it. It was like eating a porcelain plate. Yeah, and her teeth fell out.
That was another good tree auction moment where he's like, here's how you make a s'more. And I'm like, no. You could be an alien from space and come to Earth for the first time ever. And if somebody handed you those ingredients, you would figure it out. Oh my God. Oh, what? Oh, I don't know how.
We usually start all the way back at the beginning, but since we're here and Kristen mentioned it, maybe we start with Travis Van Winkle on a little something called Holiday Hunk. Hallmark. Nope. Objectification.
I'll do it. Let me sing it. It's time once again for Hallmark Holiday Hunks. Objectification. H3O. Yeah.
Woo! God,
we want to start. We want to start with him, or do we want to end with him? Kristen, your choice. Your choice.
I'd like to end with that because then it'll stay up on the screen longer.
Well, I think you're going to be pretty happy with what I did for you this go. Let's start with
Kevin spared no expense. Spared no expense.
We have Hector Rivera. Hey, it's our last episode. We're going all spiced here.
I need to make sure I zoom in on these ones for the audience watching at home.
Yowza! Yeah,
okay. There we go.
Okay.
After playing the part of Mateo in the first movie we saw, which was the Sugar Plum Twist. I'm just going to throw a 9 out there. This guy, I loved him. Wow. Ran the spotlight. He had that awesome spotlight moment. Mike, running our Twitter that night, had a great spotlight pickup line. I'm down with Mateo. He gets a 9.
The actor said, "How's your follow spot?" Like that was sort of pick up. How's your follow spot? I'm gonna give him a. You know what? I didn't actually love his character, but I think that's okay because of what we spoke about before. It was more centered on the ladies in this movie, which I totally dug. So I just didn't get enough of him like personality wise, but clearly he's very sexy. So I'm gonna give him an 8.5. An 8.5.
This is very difficult because like I had based my numbers off the movies, and now are we just doing these photos?
Oh, Chris, this is a theme, friend.
Different. Okay, I'm gonna give him an 8.5. 8.5. Yowza. When you, oh my God, look at his arm.
Get ready for the next one.
Let's move on to the Christmas House Part 2 and Robert Buckley. Hello.
Thank you for using an iZombie shot. I love this show.
I know you're a fan, so I figured it might help bump the ratings for you. Just gonna throw it out. Giving the man a snowman. He gets an 8.
Yeah. Oh God, I loved his character. There was a moment where he made fun of the British guy, and he's like, "Hey, on this photo, if you can do a make fun of British accent and then be charming while you're doing it, you get a 9.7."
Ooh, yeah.
Michael,
I'm gonna go higher than Hector here and give this gentleman a lovely 9. A lovely 9.
Ooh.
Well, actually, you know what? I really liked his fake show, the Hall of Justice, whatever it's called. 9.1. 9.1 for the for the fake show.
Handsome Justice. And listen, we didn't even waste our time with Christmas for Keeps. If you want to go objectify, feel free. Instead, there was another fellow that was in this movie, and we're going Jonathan Bennett. Let's have a look. Very nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
I think we know that I'm obsessed with him and his fiance because I met his fiance at Christmas Con. I want to be invited to their wedding at this point. I'm going to give him a 9.7 as well because I don't want the brothers to fight over what score I gave each of them.
I did the same thing. I gave him an 8 as well. They both got snowmen from me. Yep. Also, very quick, Mike, before you give a number, Kristin, was that not Jonathan Bennett's fiance that was in the film who came up to the camera selling the merchandise? I'm pretty sure that was his fiance.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, go back and watch. I'm pretty sure it was.
No, I would. Okay.
All right, take to the comments, everybody watching. Was it or wasn't it? This picture surprises me, Kevin. I think he's cute for different reasons, you know what I mean, than his bod. But if he has this plus the cuteness, plus he's just like funny, you know what I mean? The funny gets me. I'm gonna rank him a little lower. He won the trophy though, so I'm gonna give the brother the credit. 9.1. I'm gonna give this guy an 8.9. 8.9.
Yeah.
For
he's getting like crazy ripped for his wedding. Like the progress alone on Instagram. Well done, Jonathan.
Let's bring up the naked picture of Treat Williams. Oh no. Travis Van Winkle.
Wait, can I very quickly just say, Tree Williams, it looks like very amazing for 70. He's the substitute 2, 3, and 4. He's so good, so good.
Go back and watch him. I believe it was Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, and he is without a shirt. It's when he's like punching the corpse on a meat hook. We don't talk about that sort of stuff here, but we watch all sorts of things. But let's talk about Travis Van Winkle. I believe the Netflix show You, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yowza.
Chris, what do you think of this?
Listen, have we seen him in other things? Did I give him scores before this?
I didn't look them up, but yeah, we have. We've seen Travis Van Winkle before.
I gotta go back in my record of lady boners and see what happened before. Because here's the thing. Okay, we know Heine's get a 10 million. We know that Andrew Walker, I think, got a 10 this year too. I am gonna give another 10.
Wow, very nice.
I loved this character. I loved his hair. There was I wanted to run my hands through it. Also, for just sort of like objectifying the bit that like Brad Pitt talks about in Fight Club. Like that, oh boy. I just okay, thanks for coming. Like that's what I'm gonna say.
That's it. That's all you need. I gave him originally a 7.5. I'm going to bump it up, though, Chris. You've sold me a little bit. I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to keep him with the Mitchell brothers. Keep him with the Mitchell brothers.
This is like if Jason Momoa or Chris Hemsworth goes away. I think this is the replacement right here. This is like how Speaking of Spider-Man and movies that are the greatest ever this year, he's up there. He's in like superhero territory for me. I think he could very easily make that transition. And if you know how much I like superheroes, you know this gentleman is getting a 9.9. 9.9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Forever, he will be known as Aqua Thor to me because
well done, Aqua Thor.
Aqua Thor looking good.
This guy also should be cast on the next season of Yellowstone. He would put him on a horse. Okay.
Put him on a horse. Well, everybody, that was our final for the season edition of Hallmark Holiday Hunks Objectification.
Wow. I got sweaty during that one. The pits are warm.
It was a bit. It was a bit. I was gonna say a bit much. It was a bit perfect.
I just have a question though. Like, why didn't we do that the week Tyler Hines movie came out?
Chris, I'm thinking about it now. I don't think we can ever go back to them wearing shirts. So if you're a fan of this portion of the show, I think moving forward, you're gonna get what you're gonna get, which is
you're gonna get it. Is what you're gonna get.
So you can still buy Remark shirts at Bonfire. You can find it on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our Instagram page. On Facebook and on Instagram, we are Remark the Show. At Twitter, we are just Remark Show because I ain't got time for articles.
You're an idiot.
I don't know why. But please give us some follows, give us some likes, subscribe to us on YouTube, and you will find more and more things. We're not done yet. We're going to real quickly, as we wrap up here.
Nobody panic. Nobody panic. I found it.
Listen. Hey, Letterkenny comes out.
I found it.
Letterkenny comes out in 7 days. I'm sure he will not be wearing a shirt.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll not be wearing a shirt. Very quickly, we're not going to go through every movie. We're not going to do a crazy list. It goes on and on and on. We're just going to quickly, and I'm not even giving reasons why, naming our top 5. Mike is at a severe disadvantage because he's only seen 12 of the films. So Mike wants to participate. He is more than welcome to. But Chris and I are just going to blurt out our movies. Yeah. So Chris, you want to do yours? You want me to do mine?
I'll do mine. Sure. I'll go from 5 to 1. 5 to 1.
Yes.
All right. Number 5. Sugar Plum Twist.
Ooh, all right.
Good one. Yep.
Number 4. Christmas House 2.
Wow.
Nice.
Number 3. My Family Christmas Tree.
So good. Yep.
Number 2. Santa Stakeout.
Yep.
Santa Stakeout. Oh, that one sounds fun. I kind of want to watch it.
Number 1. Christmas.
An Unexpected Christmas.
Unexpected Christmas.
I've watched it 5 to 6 times since it aired.
Yeah. Mike, you would love the Santa Stakeout. It's very funny. It has Joe Pantoliano in it. If you watch the episode we reviewed, you'll know why we call him Joey No Pants. That would be a different picture to pop up right now. We're not doing that. Here's my 5. Also, very quickly, My Family Christmas Tree is my number 5. You will find why Kristin and I do this together because we are so damn similar. Oh. My number 4 is the one that wasn't in her list. Is Gingerbread Miracles. We talked about how much I loved the Latin music in that movie. I freaking love that movie. My number 3 is Sugar Plum Twist. I freaking loved it. So I clearly have a love for the Latin with my 3 and 4.
Yeah.
My number 2 is the Santa Stakeout, and my number 1 is also An Unexpected Christmas. So if you don't like Chris and my lists, I would not watch the show because they're always going to be.
Kevin, I will admit, I'm surprised that A Christmas Sale was not higher on your list. But
I liked it, and when you Chris will post our full lists. We'll post them on our social media, and it's still high. It's in my top 10.
It is.
Definitely came down a little bit because as I thought more and more about it, I very much enjoyed it. I think that Starbuck, I forget her name right now. Was made. Mike will know. Mike, who played Starbuck in Battlestar?
Katie Sackhoff, who also.
Katie Sackhoff. Yep, yeah. She was in the Christmas Sale with.
I feel like that was like a quiz, and I got the.
No, with Terry O'Quinn from Lost playing her father. I loved it, but yeah, it definitely was. There were a couple movies that were fighting to get in there, but this was.
Yeah, it's hard. When you get in that middle to top section, it's very difficult.
And it was a good year. We talked about that. Like there were. Last year, there were some real crappy movies. This year, it was like my middle is still pretty strong. And
Yeah. There's a solid, like, I could move them from however I wake up feeling that morning and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and can I say, like, I was coming in expecting to, like, hate more of them, having never experienced this before. I can't give a top 5 because I've only seen 12. But all of the Christmas-themed ones that I saw were very admirable and I think serviceable. None of them really stuck out to me, like, as, like, oh, this was so good. Which is why then I think my favorites were 8 Nights of Hanukkah, because I was like, oh, they're doing something different than I expected, and Sugar Plum Twist, because I think I was like, oh, this is like unique and is representing a different culture than just like white people celebrating Christmas. You know what I mean? And so I thought those were very nice to see. I liked the representation throughout this 12 that I watched, and so that's why those stuck out to me. I don't know if I could pick like a favorite. They were all very like fun. I had a couple like I didn't like it. You know what I mean? But I thought they were those stuck out. Those stuck out.
I do have great news.
What? The picture of Travis Van Winkle is still up?
Yeah, that. And I don't know if y'all saw, but there's like new movies coming out like all of January. And I was we're not done.
I need a break, damn it. I need a break.
The Magic Veil one, I'm like, oh boy.
We'll talk and we'll be back in time.
Usually we only do the Heine ones.
But maybe, we'll see. This is a good reason to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. That way when we do decide to pop something up, and if you're sad that it's over, again, you can go back to everything we did last year. Chris and I did Crashing Through the Snow in July when they did Christmas in July. So that was another holiday film that was from 2021. So if you didn't see that, by the way, definitely worth going back and watching.
We did 42. We did 42.
We did. And you can also watch, because we are not done.
No.
The three of us are not done. We have one more episode of Hawkeye on Disney Plus to review that comes out this Wednesday. So watch it on Disney Plus. Come back. We will talk about it. Maybe we'll slip in some Spider-Man stuff.
Most likely. Are you kidding me? Come on.
But no spoilers. We would let you know that way up front. So, but in the meantime, friends, anything that you want to say here at the end of at least the countdown?
Oh my goodness. If I could just be legit serious for a minute. If anyone out there is struggling during this time of year, or any time of the year, but this time of the year specifically, please feel free to literally reach out to remarktheshow@gmail.com, which may seem super silly, but if you need a void just to scream into, we can be that void for you. But also there's most likely hotlines that you're able to call. And I think maybe we'll post one on our page. So that way, if everyone is staying safe and healthy out there.
Yeah. And if I may, I just want to say, enjoy your Christmas if that's your thing. Have a happy new year. Be safe. Listen, things are getting crappy again out there, so for the love of God, just wear a mask. Get vaccinated. If you're somebody who's on the fence, we don't want to have to make a slide for a dead grandmom next year that has actually hurt you, and I know when we do these things, it can sometimes seem crass, but like, just get vaccinated, get boosted, be safe, and have a safe and happy holiday season.
Indeed.
Yay. Support.
Love you.
Hey, someone and the three of us all do live theater and have worked in bars and restaurants and theaters before. If you feel safe, continue to support those establishments during the holidays. They are getting hit hard in New York right now, especially small theaters with all the stuff that's going on. But if you feel safe, please, check those out as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me, Kevin or Kristin. This was so
nice.
nice.
Oh my God, thanks for doing it. Come back. Please come back.
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
Happy holidays.
Bye. Oh, my.